Speaking of the Pac-12, Notre Dame went fishing out there trying to find a new OC. They tried to lure Andy Ludwig away to go become the new offensive coordinator of the Fighting Irish after Tommy Rees joined Saban down in Alabama. One problem, guys. They refused to pay the $2 million buyout to get Ludwig away from Utah. And so Andy said, you know what, guys, I'm fine. I'm going to stay right here. And Notre Dame then hired Gerard Parker, their tight ends coach, to be their new offensive coordinator, which one person joked on Twitter, if Notre Dame tried to hire the man that looked most like Tommy Rees, they succeeded. Go look up Tommy Rees and Gerard Parker side by side. They could be brothers.
Yeah, it's just a really interesting situation for Notre Dame. I was shocked. It seemed like they just weren't willing or couldn't pay that buyout. And for a quote unquote historic program or one that wants to be a national player, you would never see that in SEC school, right? Like if Saban or Jimbo or, any of those guys, Smart, any of these guys want somebody to be their offensive coordinator, money is not going to be an issue. The person might turn them down, but money is absolutely not going to be an issue, especially, it sounds funny to say, but $2 million in the grand scheme of things is not that big a deal when you talk about the money that we're spending on these programs. So I don't know. It was like a really eye opener for me. Notre Dame wants to be considered still one of the big boys and one of the national powers. And obviously they have won a lot of games, but big boys don't get told no over $2 million.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, well, and I mean, the big thing here is they didn't shell it out. And it's not like it's for some who cares, offense coordinator. Andy Ludwig's offense was 11th in scoring last year. They almost hit 40 points a game. And that's with not the top end talent. They weren't necessarily recruiting at the highest end. They had some really solid players on that offense. But let's not pretend like they're getting the same guys as a lot of those teams in the top 10. And to be able to pull that off in Utah, where it's going to be a little bit colder in altitude and everything else, like I think it's a testament to what his offense can do. And there's some really interesting things that he does with being physical and being able to move the line of scrimmage. And so I think being able to pull a guy like Andy Ludwig would have been a home run hire, if you ask me. All that to say, yeah, you're going to let $2 million stand in the way of you getting a solid offensive coordinator when things maybe haven't been trending necessarily your way. I know that they haven't had the best luck, and obviously Tommy Rees leaving and everything else. But, I think you needed a splash to kind of get back on that hype train from last offseason. And, they didn't make the splash, right? And so, I hope it's not just, Notre Dame's poor. I don't think that's probably true, but, it sure gives off poor vibes that they wouldn't go out there and just shell out a little bit of money to get a really good offensive coordinator.
It's poor program energy, man. It's program energy. And that's who your coach wanted. Like, go get who your head, like if you believe in Marcus Freeman and you trust him to make that decision, go get who he wants. And if he tells you no, that's one thing, but it's just a bad look.
Yeah. Well, and you had the Notre Dame donor base immediately kind of take to Twitter, a few really notable names. Brad Powers is one of them, who just said, hey guys, like, listen, if I'm donating, but you're not going to use my money to go improve the program, I'm going to stop donating. Right. Yeah. I mean, like, this is a very real public snafu for Notre Dame. And it gave off the, we have McDonald's at home energy, right? Like, no, we don't need to go spend money out. Like, we
have Andy Ludwig at home
in house. So a little bit of a swing and a miss, at least publicly. Now, this could be totally unfair to Gerard Parker, right? I mean, we don't know. We haven't seen him be an offensive coordinator yet, so maybe he's exactly what they need, and that offense is going to be a lot of fun under Sam Hartman. We just have to wait and see. But at least publicly, a little bit of a tough scene there to lose out on your guy, the guy that, like you said, Marcus Freeman named for $2 million. So we'll see. Big win for Utah, obviously retaining Ludwig. That's a huge win for them as they go for another Pac-12 championship.
Gracious, how about